When I say special Halloween edition, that pumpkin is it. As far as I'm going, kids. Sorry. Hello and welcome to the show as we say hello to Lauren Wood and James Hooper. Welcome to you both. Great to see your smiling faces, and likewise Robbie Slater alongside Brad Haddon. Hey, Hads.
Guys.
Don't feel any pressure sitting in that chair.
Now, it hasn't started well, like I must say. I've got a football research book. It's the same as this one, but the other one is Indy's homework.
Oh, no.
So it's at least I've got a login, and she's been doing a lot of her homework, so research. Thanks, Indy. It's a good start. Don't ask me any football questions. I'll just talk about Peter. I'm just going to talk about Peter Volandes and Albo and his 600 million.
He's a genius.
The Pythagoras theorem.
Yeah.
That's it.
Perfect.
Not maths, is it?
Yes.
Is it maths?
No, it's English.
Something you're all too unfamiliar with.
Yes. Yeah.
The Eddie Jones ride is over for the Wallabies. Just 9 months into his 5-year contract, Jones and Rugby Australia have parted ways after their worst ever World Cup performance. Good news and bad news, Hoops. Where are you sitting with this?
Oh, it's a shambles, Tone. Unfortunately, I think Australian rugby is a steaming turd at the moment. I don't think it's all Eddie Jones's fault. I blame the bloke who is in charge. He made the captain's pick in Hamish McLennan. Frankly, I don't think he'd know if the bus was up him, the doors started opening and the driver started ringing the bell. And it's been proven with the way that it is so spectacularly unravelled over the course of the last 12 months. It's so bad, rugby union ex-players are now even starting to eat their own. That's not something you often see.
Tell us what you really think.
Is this a catalyst for change, though? We've heard a lot come out of Eddie's mouth over the last couple of weeks. No, I'm here for the long haul. I'm disappointed he's taken this option. I think it's the easy option. He's got himself in this situation. He wanted change, and let's hope he's seen it through, and now he hasn't. But is this a catalyst for change?
I'm an Eddie fan, similar to yourself, Hads, and he was meant to be the circuit breaker. He was meant to be the agent for change that was going to come in, disrupt things, shake it up, and hopefully get Australian rugby back to the promised land. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and they've negotiated. I know they're saying there was no settlement time, but there must have been some sort of paper shuffle, and he hasn't just walked away.
But Hoops, is Eddie, he's gambled and he's lost, basically. He's either hero or zero. He left the experienced players out and he went with regenerating the Wallabies, and it failed.
Spot on, Robin. He's got a history of doing that wherever he has been, and he's had a lot of success. Hasn't been able to win a World Cup final, but that's his MO. He will always take risks. In this case, it didn't work, and so they've had to part ways.
Well, it didn't work, but he hasn't stayed long enough to get change. He's come in and thrown a bomb into everything, which is fine, but he hasn't stayed around to fix it.
Yeah. The next coach has a blank page, can do whatever they like, which may well be a very good thing. But I will... Look, at least Eddie has left us with some little nuggets of philosophy to chew on, like this, which is just brilliant. I gave it a run, hopefully, to be the catalyst for change. Sometimes you have to eat number twos, for others to eat caviar further down the track. I'm not sure that was... I didn't know that was how caviar was produced, but still.
I don't know about your reference to chewing on there either, so I might just leave that one to Eddie. But, I mean, Japan's sort of been all the talk, hasn't it? And there was the Zoom meeting that happened but then didn't happen, and obviously he's got connections there. But I can't help but think, what's to stop them now after this entire circus just going, you know what? Don't call us. We'll call you.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point, Lauren. Eddie's a shrewd operator and he's got a great history with Japan. He's coached there in their domestic competition previously. He's coached the national side previously. One thing about Eddie, he's a genius when it comes to playing the game and moving the chess pieces around. He won't be long out of a gig.
Is he so favourites to take over from Eddie? I mean, it's a void now. Like Tony said, come in with a blank cheque, but it's a dangerous situation for the game.
Personally, I like Steve Larkham purely because he's worn the Wallaby jersey. He was part of the most recent team, which was all the way back in 1999.
Michael Checker's been there before. He's also an interesting option.
I know, but what do we want to do, Tone? Do we just want to keep going back to the future and recycling? Like, if we go down that road...
Have you not heard my jokes? Yes, we did.
Fair point. No, I like the idea of Steve Larkham in that he's been in the system. He was a genius player. I think he would be a step in the right direction.
I'll be honest with you, I will miss this sort of stuff from Eddie because he just is brilliant. Have a listen.
sometimes you go in the bank and you blow it up, mate, but you don't come out with the money. And that's part of the deal, you know.
Plenty of people felt robbed. No doubt about it. I love it. Obviously, there had to be a response. People have been waiting for quite some time. The CEO of Rugby Australia, Phil Waugh, now he had the chance for that. He was a former Wallaby to rake his studs across Eddie's back as he left, but no, he was all calm, quiet, and had respect.
So I think the way that Eddie's handled this process has been admirable, and I wish him all the best. I mean, we've got a job to do here. I mean, we've got a lot of ground to make up with building trust with our stakeholders, with the community, and you know, we all know that we've let down people, and we're ultimately responsible, and we need to rebuild that trust. And our focus will be on reconnecting with the Australian public rather than where Eddie's going to be.
All right. It's
Admirable.
Very un-Eddie-like.
It'll be admired, I think, by media trainers, either for the positive or the negative. Probably Eddie Jones is going to be the one that's I mean, a week ago he was saying, I'm going nowhere.
Yep.
A week's a heck of a long time in footy, isn't it?
Goes back into where after that press conference he goes, I can't believe I just said that.
The one thing
Jeez, they got me.
was very measured.
Yes.
He knows there's a big job. It's not about just putting Larkham in or Checker. It's about they've got a lot of things on the table. They've got to fix. Do they centralise their model like the Kiwis? We know Ireland have done that. So they've got more decisions to make rather than just the coach.
It's huge. Their brand has to be rebuilt completely. I mean, people did love the Wallabies, so it has to happen. I don't think, though, anything sums up Eddie's return and swift exit from the Wallabies job better than this. Ezzy Kubra. Thank you, The Simpsons. I love it. All right, meanwhile, in a related story, South Africa are the champions of the rugby world, winning their 4th title and a 1-point thrill to the 3rd in a row for them. That was a win over the All Blacks. They just get the job done, the Springboks, don't they? They're powerful, they let their defence work, get the penalties that they need, and away they go.
Yeah, look, it wasn't an epic game, Tone, by any stretch of the all-time rugby classics, but the closeness of the contest made it enthralling. Obviously, there was a hugely controversial send-off with the New Zealand captain, and then there are a couple of other yellow cards for South African players as well. But I love the story of the fly half in the final, Andre Pollard. Wasn't picked initially. The hooker got injured, the backup hooker. They've drafted him straight into the squad. He came on against England, finds a way to manufacture a victory, kicks a 53-metre penalty goal to seal that result, and then gets the job done again in the final. It's an epic story.
Yeah. Back-to-back wins for South Africa.
Is it
extraordinary?
Is it though, Hoops, and everyone? Is it like, I'm not a massive rugby fan. Of course, I follow the Wallabies like I follow all our national teams. But when you get 1 try scored in the final, the team that wins the World Cup doesn't score a try. I just, you know, when you're trying to inspire kids across the nation...
Hey, back off, Sparky. You're playing a game where nil-all's good.
Yeah, but you can hit the crossbar quite a few times. No, I just, you know, flowing rugby is what people like to see, and I don't think we saw much of that.
It's a fair question, Robbie, and that's why I say it was by no means an epic World Cup final that we'll be talking about for decades to come.
There is a great deal of skill, though, Hoops, in terms of winning a penalty against the opponents, whether it's your forward pack being more powerful, all that at the set piece.
Hang on, Tone. What about the penalty where the bloke got sent off? He was trying to stop a try. How's that a penalty?
Well, it is a penalty.
That is the worst rule in world sport, the deliberate knock-on rule.
Deliberate knock-on.
Absolute garbage.
10 minutes in the sin bin is now. That's not that. That's Sam Cane. Now this is the send-off. You know, that's controversial. You say during the season. Imagine if that happened in a World Cup final. Well, it did.
Well.
Well, off he goes, Sam Cane, the first player to ever be sent off.
And for me, that ruins the game.
And that's the point you were talking about before, Robbie. You want to see a spectacle. This is their main event. This is the World Cup. They've got a full crowd. And you don't want to see a red card decide the result of the game. They need to look at that rule. The letter of the law has to go off. But, Hoops, we see it in the NRL. The finals are ref differently to round 18. Origins ref differently to anything else because it's the spectacle. And maybe rugby need to look at that.
But concussion happens the same in a final as it does through the rest. I mean, this is one of the codes that actually is taking the head injury seriously.
Well, they're all taking it seriously. They're all doing their absolute best, right? I think in this case, and to Robbie's point from earlier, the issue rugby union's got, Tony, is the ball is only in play for around half an hour of an 80-minute game. By any measure of any sort of sporting spectacle, that's always going to be a challenge, Lauren.
Yeah, exactly right. As it particularly more so as more teams more sports, move towards that T20 model of action and movement and colour for the entire game. It's hard to draw them in, isn't it?
And the punishment there may have been exceeded the crime. So there is talk of that whole thing that Super Rugby has where you can have the red card. It's 20 minutes. Kane couldn't have come back on, but somebody else could have come on after 20 minutes. Maybe that is a way to go. Plenty of New Zealand fans thought Springboks captain Sia Khaleesi should have gone the same way. Now, this time again, he was given 10 in the bin. The TMO had a look to see, and they decided there were mitigating circumstances that saved him coming up off the ball, player lowering his body, all of those things.
Well, this is where the controversial lies. You've got two very similar incidences there. The South African team won. They only lost a man for 10 minutes. New Zealand lost a man for the game. So you don't want to be talking about a red card or a yellow card in your marquee event.
All right, you do want to be talking about, this is just for you playing this. It's a cynical act, or using poor grammar can get you penalised in rugby, as we know. But is there anything dumber? Getting 10 in the bin for a deliberate knock-on. This is Cheslin Colby. Now, he comes through and boom, 10 in the bin.
Surely that's
Jeez,
the worst rule in professional
It's a
sport.
shocking rule.
He's trying to defend a try-scoring opportunity.
That's how we spent the last few minutes.
These scenes were classic. He spent the entire rest of the game like that.
It's harsh, isn't it?
It's harsh. It's very harsh, but there you go.
Again, so to Had's point, that all we're talking about is incidents like this in your centrepiece game. We're not talking about brilliant tries, brilliant play. We're talking about this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shit. You wouldn't say, you said poo-poo, but I'm saying.
No, I didn't say poo. I said number
I'm
two.
sitting in this chair, I've got to make a stand. This comes out.
Saying shit isn't necessarily hilarious.
Indigo didn't use that in
there,
a Sorry, I apologise.
Some New Zealand fans found this nice pic of the man of the match, actually. There's referee.
Where's the third match official though, Tony? You could also give it to him as well. I noticed he'd put the suit and tie.
He was in a suit
everything
and tie
on
up
for the
in
occasion.
box. Absolutely.